This is the Southside School of Financial Freedom Market Report and Small Account Update for the week ending October 12, 2024. The market finished higher this week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average increased 0.97% on Friday and was up 1.21% for the week. The S&P 500 increased 0.61% on Friday and was up 1.11% for the week. The Nasdaq increased 0.33% on Friday and was up 1.13% for the week. Looking at the week, we can see that there were 9 up finishes versus 6 down finishes for the major indexes. On Monday and Thursday, all the major indexes finished down. On Tuesday and Wednesday, all the major indexes finished up. And on Friday, they all finished up again. How did you do? My small account finished 2.5% higher and generated cash flow of 2.93%. Even when the market falls and or my account doesn't do well, I still get income or cash flow by selling covered calls and naked puts. This method does not only guarantee cash flow or income, it can also beat the S&P 500. I have a watch list that I use to determine which options of stocks that I want to sell. A stock has to meet 5 criteria to be put on my trading watch list. I will not reveal what my criteria are, but if you examine my list, you may be able to figure out the criteria for yourself. The last row is my benchmark row. That is, I measure my performance against gold, silver, and the S&P 500. Looking at my watch list from the week, the strongest performer on the list was IonQ Incorporated, ticker symbol IONQ. It's in the second column. It was up 8.66% on Friday and increased 14.5% for the week. IonQ Incorporated develops general-purpose quantum computing systems in the United States. They sell access to quantum computers of various qubit capabilities. The company makes access to quantum computers through cloud platforms such as Amazon Web Services, Amazon Bracket, Microsoft Azure Quantum, and Google's Cloud Marketplace, as well as through its own cloud service. IonQ also provides contracts associated with the design, development, and construction of specialized quantum computing hardware systems, maintenance and support services, and consulting services related to co-developing algorithms on quantum computing systems. Looking at a summary of results, you can see that IonQ has decreased minus 13.96% year to date. I did not generate cash flow from IonQ this week. This week, I generated cash flow from selling 5 option contracts, 2 calls, and 3 puts that range from $8.34 to $45.34. It was on Monday that I sold 2 calls, one for $25.34 and one for $10.34. And I sold 2 puts, one for $28.34 and one for $45.34. And then on Tuesday, I sold a put for $8.34. That's a total of $117.70, which is not a lot of money, but the account is small. $117.70, and cash flow was 2.93% of my account value. With this system, the cash flow money is free and clear. You can take it out of your account and spend it or leave it in to build your cash balance and or invest it. If I was to increase the amount of cash flow, I would have to use a larger account. For example, to 10x the cash flow to $1,177, I would use a larger account, and instead of selling one of everything that I sold, I would sell 10. This system is guaranteed to produce cash flow immediately and every week that it is applied. However, it does not guarantee the amount of cash flow from week to week, nor the value of your account. The amount varies and the account value varies. Despite the variations in the amount and value, the goal is to generate cash flow and beat the S&P 500. Most professional money managers and their strategies do not consistently beat the S&P 500 every year. They usually lose, and they lose by a lot. Last year, this method beat the S&P 500 by almost 12%. But in 2024, my account is down minus 13.57% versus 21.94% up for SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF. That's a difference of 35.51%. So I am losing to the S&P 500 by about 35.5%. It is not unusual to beat the S&P 500 one year and then lose to the index the next year. And that's what's happening to me in 2024. I am still trailing SPY by a lot. Do you think it's time to throw in the towel on the cash flow system, beating the S&P 500 this year? Or will the system rebound hard for the rest of the year? Tune in next week to find out what happens. Bitcoin watch. Bitcoin increased almost 1% this past week and is down almost minus 15% from its all-time high. However, it is up over 49% year to date. Some people believe that Bitcoin is the most transformative financial asset in 1,000 years. I think the best course of action is to dollar cost average, that is DCA, into the S&P 500 and DCA into Bitcoin at a 30 to 70% ratio for the next 10 years and or up to when you have invested at least $10,000. In fact, I have implemented a similar strategy where I have a portfolio that is about 70% in a Bitcoin ETF. After 17 weeks, it is up 3.1%. The S&P 500 ETF SPY is up 6.78%, and the cash flow system is down minus 0.12% in those 17 weeks. What do you think? What is your strategy? Do you know how to produce cash flow every week and beat the S&P 500? Do you invest in Bitcoin, which may prove to be the smartest investment of the decade? As you develop, analyze, and implement your strategy, please check back to see how my small account and my Bitcoin dominant account performs against the S&P 500 from week to week by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.